The notary's pen hadn't even touched the paper before I understood exactly what was happening. Her smile gave it away, sweet, practiced, and fake. My mother-in-law leaned forward, fingertips resting on a document she definitely hadn't drafted herself. All we need is your signature. Beta. Just a tiny property adjustment. Family matter. I turned to my husband sitting beside her. He couldn't even look at me. That's when it clicked. This wasn't family. It was an ambush. When I married him, I'd been foolish enough to believe love meant honesty. He'd been charming then, kind to me, gentle with my grandmother when she was alive. He'd bring her flowers every Sunday, read her the newspaper when her eyesight began to fade. That's how he won both our hearts. I truly believed I'd found a man who loved not just me, but the roots I came from. When she passed, my grandmother left me 3 apartments in Karachi, quietly, privately. She once told me, "Some things, my dear, are safer in silence." So I stayed silent. Not even my husband knew. The first sign came after the wedding. He changed the password to our joint bank account for security. Then his mother started visiting unannounced, always armed with advice. She'd comment on my jewelry, the house deed, what the husband's side was entitled to. I dismissed it as cultural interference until one night I heard her voice through the guest room door. She doesn't trust us yet, but she will. Give her time. Something inside me froze. I didn't sleep that night. 3 weeks later, I found a draft on my husband's laptop, a property declaration with our names, and a blank section labeled assets to be merged post-marriage. He'd even typed apartments in parentheses. He didn't know I'd seen it. And in that moment, my grief turned to clarity. Betrayal, when it comes quietly, cuts deeper. And revenge, when it's calm, heals cleaner. I didn't confront him. Instead, I smiled more, cooked his favorite meals, laughed at his stories. Meanwhile, I moved the ownership of my grandmother's apartments into a private trust. My name erased from every surface, legally invisible. Then I rerouted my salary into a separate account, opened months earlier under my maiden name. Every lie, every little detail, I tucked away like evidence. So when they brought the notary that morning, I knew exactly how to play my part. "Of course," I said softly, "but I'd like to read it before signing." I took the folder, walked into my study, and called my lawyer. He arrived within the hour, tall, calm, holding a brown envelope. Inside were copies of every forged document my husband had prepared. I hadn't realized how far they'd gone until then. 3 transfer drafts, 2 falsified amendments, and 1 fake signature already filed at the registrar's office. Their plan was simple, to claim my grandmother's apartments as jointly inherited marital property. By the time I finished reading, my hands weren't trembling. They were steady. I walked back to the living room. The notary smiled nervously. "Everything all right, madam?" "Yes," I said evenly, "except this version isn't current." I slid the updated papers across the table, the ones my lawyer had filed an hour earlier, voiding all previous property claims under a legal separation clause. Their faces drained of color. My husband's voice cracked. "What? What did you do?" "I protected what's mine," I said calmly. "The same way your mother taught you to protect what's yours." He tried later. Apologies, tears, accusations. Said I was cold. He was right about that. Coldness is what keeps the fire from consuming you. The divorce was clean. No shouting, no spectacle, just signatures. Real ones this time. He walked away thinking I'd left him with nothing. He never realized I'd already insured that. The apartment they live in now, it's rented from the very trust that owns my grandmother's properties. Every month, his rent quietly transfers back to me. I often picture him signing that check. I wonder if he recognizes the account number. I hope he does. Silence saved me. If I'd spoken too soon, I'd have lost everything. If I'd trusted too much, I'd be just another sad story whispered behind closed doors. But I didn't. I let them think I was naive. I let them build the trap and then step right into it. Because revenge isn't always about destruction. Sometimes it's about design. And now, every time I unlock the door to one of those quiet apartments my grandmother left me, I whisper the same words she once told me. Some things are safer in silence. And I smile because silence, when used well, is the loudest voice of all.